For the last decade, the African economy has grown by about 5.5%. This year, Sub-Saharan Africa will be the fastest growing region in the world. It will supersede Asia. So at around about 5.9%, maybe even 6%, Sub-Saharan Africa will expand collectively at a greater pace than, say, Asia, which for much of the recent past has been the world's fastest growing region. Asia will probably grow at around 5.5%. Another celebratory dynamic is that this year, in all likelihood, inflation will fall below GDP growth on the continent. And low inflation in its own right is a very powerful force in stimulating economic performance because it boosts real income. So to the extent that in 2014, Africa's ascendancy will further consolidate is a suggestion that I am making. About South Africa. South Africa has been a laggard on the continent for some time. South Africa's recovery over the last 5 or 6 years has been pedestrian relative to the emerging market profile, and it's also been pedestrian relative to South Africa's own historic performance following severe downturns. We go into our 5th election in 2014. And presaging that 2013 was a very significant year. Of course, in 2013, South Africa lost its most senior statesman. And that moment was one of reflection. It served to give an occasion to judging what South Africa has achieved over the last 2 decades. But it also serves as a reflection of whether South Africa has gained momentum in that transformation endeavor over the last couple of years, or in fact whether South Africa has receded in its momentum over the last couple of years. And the event, I guess, at the stadium early in December, at that commemoration of Nelson Mandela, highlighted the divides and the skepticism that has crept into, I'd be a little bit exaggerating if I suggested popular opinion, but certainly some opinion that South Africa may have become unmoored from the type of ideals that the generation of Nelson Mandela aspired to. 2013 was also significant in the sense that it was the year that COSATU unraveled, like the ANC probably in 2010. So COSATU now, in terms of its identity, is so much more challenged. Whereas before it was clear or clearer in terms of what COSATU meant for the alliance and for the government, and especially during election time, that has become so much more blurred. Also, the divides in COSATU have brought to the fore the differences in policy choices. So while the ANC and government has increasingly anchored itself to the National Development Plan, there are elements within COSATU, and specifically NUMSA, that see that as unmooring of the more robust leftist demands that COSATU, or those elements of COSATU, have clung to for some time. 2013 was also a year in terms of the political landscape that spawned new parties, of course in anticipation of the forthcoming elections. So we saw the birth of the EFF. And while many have routinely dismissed Mr. Malema, naturally he's going to have a constituency when you see youth unemployment scaling 50%, when there are rumblings of discontent on the Platinum Belt, and when you see significant slide in ANC support, be it in the Free State, in Limpopo, in Northwest, admittedly incipient, fresh slide, but long-standing slide in support for the ANC in the Eastern Cape. One would be rather short-sighted, I would submit, to dismiss the EFF success. And I don't judge EFF success as going to win the election. It is that bitty percentage points that is able to thieve away from the dominant party.